Hi everyone, this is just a pretty quick fire video because I'm trying to compartmentalize, trying to digest all of the thoughts that are circulating around in my mind, and I don't know where I would even begin. So just gonna breathe for a minute and try and think what I want to say. I have been making some relatively positive progress in my personal life lately because I've been actually making actions. I've been performing actions, I should say. I've been spending a little bit less time ruminating up in here, and I guess that's like the inspiration for making a quick fire video like this. For years now, I'm 24 years old now, and for years and years, probably like 12 years, since the age of 12, I've been suffering with severe bouts of depression. I would then go on to isolate myself, and I would feel like any attempt to reveal my vulnerabilities or to express myself, whether that be through art or performance or just vocalizing my opinions, I viewed that as potential weaknesses, and I lacked confidence. Some of that, I think, you know, we get traumatized in our childhood, we carry over trauma, and then it kind of like remains even in your like adult configuration or whatever. Yeah, so I still suffer with depression. I still get really, really down and depressed. But I think that what I try to do now is remember that no external circumstances are inside my control. I don't have control over any of these external events. You know, whether somebody feels a certain way about me, whether it rains, whether I lose my job or I lose a loved one. I don't have any control over these, and it is going to have a direct impact on my internal state. My feelings are going to be hurt, right? And there is great power in emotions and feelings, and they teach us a lot. But if I know that the only kind of faculties that I have that are inside of my control is my own self-reflection, I think that the way that I view it now is that like the universe itself is kind of set in motion, right? We're set in motion by the universe. We are the universe experiencing itself subjectively, and it's like a ball has been an agent of some sort rolls a ball across a room. They're the cause, the ball rolling in motion is the effect. There's no real like tangible effort or stability that ball can gain to then become some sort of causal agent that makes its own choices. But with that being said, a human being being the agent that's been set in motion outside of its control has self-reflection, the ability to self-decept. When you do something wrong, I've done many terrible things in my life, and when I've done things that are wrong, I've used self-deception as a way to carry out the immoral action. I've known that what I'm doing is unethical, and I've done it anyway because I've convinced myself that I've known that it's wrong, but I've ignored that moral intuition that I have inherently. And I think that that's what everyone seemingly does. I think that everyone has that kind of baseline moral intuition or guidance internally that tells us that like stabbing this person is wrong, or stealing is wrong because that someone else is going to bear the brunt of it. I think that we all have those moral intuitions, but the issue is that almost all of us at a certain time and place are going to ignore those moral intuitions. So I'm going to take my jacket off because it's getting kind of warm now. The sun's just come out, it's really nice. So with that being said, if I now know that the only thing inside my control is my self-reflection, then maybe introspection and self-awareness is enough to live a good life, you know. And I guess I'm someone that enjoys philosophy, you know. I get kind of absorbed in philosophy, but very recently there's been a shift in my mindset where I just don't find philosophy to be as engaging when it doesn't actually have a direct, practical, pragmatic, beneficial effect on my life. Like, I don't see the point in... This isn't ancient Greece where we're all just middle-aged men sitting around the agora or whatever, half naked, doing things that are morally questionable by today's standards, and I believe that there are objective moral truths to a certain degree. At least I think I do. So I think that, you know, things that were immoral 2,000 years ago, I think that they just are inherently immoral, right? I don't think that what Hitler was doing to the Jews, as another example, in Nazi Germany, I don't think that was somehow, like, morally justified just because it's relative to the Nazis, right? Relative to the Nazis, it was morally justified. I still think that there's a moral truth that holocausting millions of Jews is immoral. But I'm kind of going on a tangent there. So I think the reason why I think so much about free will and about morality is because that I think it plays a huge part in our daily lives. I think philosophy plays a huge part. But the practical philosophy, you know, whether it be Stoicism, and not Stoicism that's been completely skewed and, like, morphed and manipulated into something entirely different by the manosphere and complete morons like Andrew Tate. But the actual ability to sit in vulnerability and to sit in uncertainty and to reflect on it, observe it, feel it to its full potential or its full degree, and to not allow it to just crumble you and tear you down to pieces, you know. There's a lot of power and strength and stability, I think, to be found in our emotions and our vulnerability. And I think that we live in a day and age now where it's power and individuality is overly emphasized and overly put at the forefront of everyone's what everyone deems to be significant or important. And it's unfortunate because that we are inherently a very sociable species. We thrive in community, and you know, these things such as religion are what breed community, and that's why you see people that turn towards religion and people that turn towards very questionable moral frameworks, you know, because that they're looking for this ultimate, like, divine objective morality. But that morality is going to have to be mind dependent. It's gonna have to be dependent on an agent's mind. So yeah, it's just something that I find interesting. Now, this doesn't mean that there can't be ways to figure out how to make our lives better. That's what I'm trying to figure out at the moment, you know. And today I'm feeling pretty positive. I've made some pretty good changes recently. It's been difficult and I have really down days, but I just think that sometimes you need to stop. You need to stop thinking and start feeling. You know, you don't always need to. It's good to think about how you're feeling, but over-analyzing, ruminating on your feelings or your thoughts is not necessarily going to be helpful, right? Yes, that's just a thought. This has been a very, tangent type video, and it's 10 minutes long already. If anyone's watching this, I'd be really curious to hear in the comments below, any observations that you've made when watching this, or if you have any questions, if anything I said resonated with you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to strengthen. I think one thing I wanted to mention, I was just trying to kind of reach the back of my mind and figure out what I was trying to remember. I'm trying to strengthen my moral compass, or I'm trying to gather my virtues, my moral virtues. That's something that, it sounds a bit pretentious, but I've been trying to figure out what it is that's really important to me. And obviously, I might have even mentioned here before, I think it's purpose, creativity, connection, compassion, things like that. And I just try and live in accordance with those virtues as much as I can. But that doesn't mean that it's always going to be the case. I do make a lot of mistakes as well. But I think to try not to slam yourself down and hate yourself for mistakes that you make, and to realize that you're a fallible human being is probably beneficial as well. Anyway, I think that's enough tangents for the day. Thanks for watching, and peace.